Today, we want to talk about preventing and recovering from interview mistakes. And anyone who's interviewed has a story about a mistake that they've made, and it feels daunting and it feels like it's irrecoverable. We're going to teach you today how not to only recover from them, but to try to keep them from happening in the first place.
Yeah, but I think before we dive into that,
Sure.
we need to have a bigger conversation about our people pleasing that we can default to in these moments, or feeling shame because that perfectionist is like running our world and telling us we're not doing it correct enough.
Those behaviors actually call attention to the mistake.
Yeah.
So the biggest mistake that we'll make is over apologizing for something. And often it's a minor mishap.
Right.
You know, I bump into your desk when I walk in, or someone says, "Oh, can I have your business card?" "Oh, sorry, I forgot." You know, that any apologizing like that draws attention to the issue, the mistake, but it also shows a terrific lack of confidence.
You know, I was recently with a mom friend of mine, and she was just doing so much apologizing in the conversation.
Yeah.
And I looked at her and I said, "You're going to stop that right now. You are going to stop that. And here is why. You do have it together.
Yeah.
You have a lot going on in your life, and you do have it together, and you need to feel confident about the education that you have, the background that you have, the time and effort you put into to make happen what happened. So you're going to stop that right now." So I'm going to say that to our audience.
Also, as a manager,
yes,
I don't want to be with someone who's apologizing all the time, because that to me shows a lack of confidence. And as a manager, especially nowadays where the teams are bigger and everything's distributed, I want to know that you can make decisions, that you can figure things out, and that you can do things with confidence and not be tapping into me all the time.
Yes.
So we're going to set a rule that you can apologize once in an interview, but only for something that requires an apology, like you're late. We're going to talk about that in a minute because that's preventable. You, knock someone's drink over. But it's one apology. It's sincere, and then you move on, because it's an opportunity for you to show your resilience. And that's one of the really important values that most corporations now have. It's one of the top qualities that they are looking for in employees, is that resilience. So you have a great way to show it right there. And then there's the gratitude piece of it.
Right.
Oh, thank you so much for this. Thank you so much.
This is such a wonderful, it's saying 500 thank yous.
Yes.
And you know what happens to the thank you? The thank you is not valuable anymore.
Not at all.
The thank you is not believable anymore.
That's right. That's right.
So make your thank you valuable.
Sincere, and for something that requires a thank you.
Yeah.
So there's a big gender divide here. Men expect more. So they thank less. It's not that they're not grateful, but they come in expecting that the person is going to give them their time.
Yes.
That the person might offer them a cup of coffee, that the person might, compliment them, or whatever. It might require some gratitude.
Right.
But so it's not so over the top, but women go in expecting less.
Right.
So we thank profusely and frequently, and typically tag on as so much. And again, it reduces its value, but again, it shows that I value myself less.
Yes.
And as I said earlier, I want to hire someone who's confident, who's decisive, not someone who's wallowing around in insecurity and guilt.
Yes.
So,
and you have value, and you belong in any workplace environment that you feel is a fit for you.
That's right.
Okay.
So one of the ways to show up at the interview
and to prevent. Let's talk about the prevent piece.
So one of the ways to show up so that you're in a better spot is to be prepared.
Right.
So, and this is on you. These are all things you can do. Number one, make sure you know who you're interviewing with. It is perfectly acceptable when the recruiter says you'll be interviewing with the sales manager or the sales team to say, who are they? I'd like to look them up. I'd like to connect with them ahead of time. Look them up on LinkedIn, learn something about them, look at their career history, look at their background, look for areas that you might have in common. Connect with them before the interview to say, Kelley, I'm so excited to meet you in our interview tomorrow. That's the first piece. Do your research on the company. You should not be asking basic questions about where are your locations, or, what's your mission, or, what were your results last year or last quarter. That is all public knowledge. Make sure you know it.
Yes.
And then the other piece of preventing for that, or preparing
piece, right?
Absolutely. If you're interviewing online, make sure your computer works. Make sure, if you've never used Google Meet, that you try it to make sure that you don't require downloading some software for it to work.
And in the event that the universe does what it does and something happens with your tech, remember, it is one apology, and that's it. And that's it.
Right.
And then move on, because guess what? and this brings us to the next part, is that mindset. Those people that are interviewing you are human beings. They have been through this process themselves. They have had things go awry themselves. You are not the only one. We have clients and people that we know, our spouses, our friends that are out there in the working world, and they have had things go south.
When they've had it happen on webinars with major corporations where their tech falls apart on us.
Exactly. So understand and know that the people sitting across from you are just human beings, just like you. And so put that into your mind when you have that moment where it all doesn't go according to plan, and just take a breath and say, yep, they're humans too. Inside your head, you don't have to say that out loud.
But another little strategy is to infuse some humor.
Yes.
So we were talking earlier, this is just slightly different, but we were talking on one of our graduate calls today about, well, I haven't worked in 15 years. And if they ask me what I used to make, like, it's not going to sound that good. But, 18 years ago was a lot of money. And in the state where she lives, it's illegal to ask, what was your prior salary? So she said, well, do I just say that? I said, if you can infuse it with some humor, you can get away with a lot more. Just to say, you know what, you can't ask me that question, but I will say that 18 years ago, I was number one on my team and I was making well into the six figures.
I think she actually said she was salesperson of the year.
Yeah, exactly. So, and she said well into the six figures. It might just be 101,000, but that's okay. So you can, for using your example, making a mistake, just laughing it off, saying, interview day jitters kind of a thing.
You can never predict what technology is going to do for you.
Exactly. So I would like to add one more thing though, because we hopefully are going to be moving into a world where we're interviewing in person more. And there are more opportunities for failures when you're reading in person because you've got to get there. Right? So you want to make sure that if it's a physical drive to interview that you've really checked that out on the map, or if it's convenient that you've done a drive through. I had an incident once where I was doing a big presentation at a very major corporation. I didn't realize that even though I'd done the drive through, I had to park a mile away, take a shuttle, and then go through a very serious clearance briefing before I could walk in. I was late. So you want to prevent those things. Another little one that will make you more comfortable is just finding out how people dress. You don't want to walk into an interview where everybody wears jeans and t-shirts in a suit, nor do you want to do it the other way. So there's some things that you can do to prevent these mishaps that might put you off your game in a physical interview, just as part of your preparation.
And then the last one is use the bounce back as an opportunity to show off how resilient you are. So if it does go wrong, if you are late, if, the tech blows out, if you spill the coffee across the table, whatever happens, if you take a misstep in how you answered a question, use it to your advantage. Leverage it to your advantage. We are resilient human beings.
We need resilience in this market because we have no idea where it's going. We have no idea how AI is going to change things. We have no idea what the markets are going to do. We've got wars breaking out and all kinds of political disjointedness. And it's just, there's so much uncertainty. We need resilient employees.
Absolutely. And so this is your opportunity to showcase that and see it as that. There really is no failure. There is no failing here. There is just an opportunity, and you can turn it into a failure. That's your choice if you do that. Or you can turn it into an opportunity to show them how you can bounce back and show them your confidence.
And one last thing, one of the things we always talk about is it's how important it is to be memorable in an interview. If you spill my coffee over, I'm going to remember you. And if you handle it really well, I'm going to be at the top of my list.
Absolutely. So there you have it, how to prevent and recover from interview mistakes. If you liked what you heard today, you can like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. You can learn more about us at www.preparetolaunchu.com. See you soon.